Welcome to Houdini Python series. So this is last section of the loop dev HDA in Arnold Houdini. So today we will be recreating the section Macbeth and Redshift. For that I will be getting our old HDA node which we created. So what exactly we want to replicate is, let's see once. So this is the thing. We want to create the ROP setup and we have to pin it to our render window, like bottom right, bottom left, or top right or top left, with two modes in the layout, horizontal or vertical. And there are some switch for disabling the spheres or the Macbeth chart. Even we will be adding the ground in this. So let's start with making of this UI elements. Right click, allow for editing, then type properties. We will add the folder in this. The name of the folder is Macbeth and Redshift. This is simple. Like the folder type is simple. And then we will add one more folder. Arrange layout. Apply. These widgets are called toggle. So we'll add one. The name is Redshift. It is a label thing. The name is exactly sphere switch. We have to make it enable by default. So to make it enable, there is channel tab, under which we have to change the value of 0 to 1 and apply it. Now for duplicating it, we will use D and we'll change the name label to Macbeth chart and the name to Macbeth switch. Apply it. Again we can duplicate it, name it ground and ground switch. We have to change the layout as these are one below another. To do so, we will select the first one and checkbox horizontally join to next parameter. We will again do for the second one. Okay. Now we will need to add the menu. These are called menu items. For that, it's ordered menu over here. The name is position, the label is position, and the name is ref position. So if we look closely, there are four items in this, whereas we don't have anything. To add the least items, we will have to go in the menu tab. There we have two inputs, the token and the label. Label will be visible to everyone and the token will be used for scripting. So now bottom right, bottom left, top right, and top left. Up light. So by default we want bottom right. So the rest sphere should come over here, and we will duplicate this parameter as well with D and change its label to layout and name to ref layout. We will need to change the items to horizontal, vertical, applied, accepted. Okay. So now we have to add the functionality to these things. Prior going ahead, we will need to understand what exactly we need to do. We need to have a controller like option through which we can get these 4 points of the viewport, and we will pin our objects like the ref sphere to this. To do so, first we will need to understand it will always be connected to the camera. So I will add one geometry node named Macbeth sphere setup. Here I will need to add one grid. So this is our grid. We will reduce the row and columns. So I have to place this in front of the camera. There is already a like tool from Houdini QL. Q library, this one, which does the same thing. If I view from here, this place and use this, it will by default give me this plane. So the same thing I have to replicate it for that, like, but for this is just we need to install it. It won't be by default. So for that I will be like I took this node and made it possible to use it without the plugin also. So we will replicate the same thing. We will go in level up once, go inside camera view, aperture, copy the parameter, paste its relative reference. The same we will be doing over here. In the Y value, copy this, paste it, then multiply it, and now we will change resolution Y divided by resolution X divide by aspect. So this will give us the x and y value, but for the distance we will need to use the focal length. Focal that's if I view now, it's not visible yet because I will need to change the orientation to XY, and if I see now, it is here is my camera and this is the plane. So it is going in the wrong direction of Z. I will just need to make it negative so it can come in front. Yeah. That's it. So this is our main tricky part to get. If you are okay to use camera plane QL, it's fine. I was just curious to understand, so I did like this. Later we will need to use add option, add it. We will need to use transform, and I will reduce the scale to 0.9. We can even change to 939 is okay for now, and I will make a global controller over here. We will remove our plane and just keep the points. We want the point in order like 0, 1, 2, 3. To do so, we will need to use transform and -1. Okay. Just we need to make one controller over there for 0.9, camera plane, something like that. A float controller. Screen ratio. Apply it. Okay. 0.9 is a value. Copy this and we'll paste it over here. Relative reference. Okay. Now the second thing which we need to do is, like, we can take one sphere and we can use copy the points. Okay. So the same way we have to implement our ROP setup. Okay. To do so, I will be starting with a Macbeth chart. We'll take a grid once more. Okay, and add a UV to it. We'll apply a shader, like just for viewport purpose. The texture I already have in my old HDA. Paste it. And we will use a transform now. To 90 and 180 degree. So we have to scale it like it is in the x-axis. Yes. To do so, we will be using our controller now. We will define everything which can be edited in future. Macbeth width. Apply it, and the value will be 1.6, because like if I eyeball it and look, it somewhat gives an acceptance to this. You can type it Macbeth width transform, and then we will reduce it scale, because if you look, zero it out. If you look over here when the camera is there, it's way too bigger. So I will need to reduce the scale, and for that I'm doing is copying this out, pasting it into 0.1, 10% off whatever scale it is. Okay. I'm not adding the distance directly over here, that we can send it through points to copy. Then we need to add a path. For that I will be using a name node. We'll take path, primitive, and ref group, Macbeth. So it's fine now. Just take a null, out, Macbeth. Now it's turn for sphere, gray ball. We will use a merge to look both simultaneously for scaling purpose. So for the radius we can add it over here. Apply it, accept it. We'll use 0.5 only for now. We can modify it later. Okay. We'll increase the value till 20 and use it subdivision. Depth of 2 or 3 will be fine for ultra smooth. Then we will add a UV texture for UV. For now it's not needed though. Changing the type to polar. Now we'll add a path. Name will be ref group gray ball geo. This will be path. Again I will copy this and will change to chrome. We can use, there is mismatch of attributes. It's mostly this. We will later on remove this one. If I just, yeah, we will remove this one later on. And duplicate it. Out. Chrome ball. Okay. Now we have to use the copy to points node 4 times. Delete this one. Make it full screen. I will be using a blast node as there are 4 points. If we see, we will have to iterate over 1 point each time. And copy the setup over here. The same I will be doing more 3 times now. We'll change the group numbers on each blast. Okay. As you already have seen the options, there are 4 options. So we will copy this parameter and here we will use a switch node to drive this. Paste relative reference. Object. Yeah. So this works fine. Now we just need to make the arrangement. We'll take a transform node. First I will just look over copy to points first one to do the transform changes, we will need to do the changes for Macbeth. Like Macbeth should be above and spear balls should be below. So we'll consider Macbeth, and we already have Macbeth width. So we will change the Y direction. That's it. And we'll write Macbeth transform. For clarity, it's H. Okay. Horizontal one. Yeah. So if I look through this, here also this should work. Here, let's see. No, because it's going above the render view. So for this one, what we will be doing is we will be making another transform node, and we will connect this. Instead of positive, we will use negative. Okay. The same thing, we can use it for this one. Okay. So if I view from the switch one, and we'll change. Yeah, it's working fine. Now we need to split the spheres. To do so, again we will go to copy to points 1, and we'll change the group to gray ball. Delete every expression. What we have to do is we have to translate in x-axis like this, something like -5, -8 point. So we can just copy this and we'll paste it. We will use a negative value. Okay, I think we can increase the radius 0.65 around, yeah, and change its name to gray ball. X form is right, I guess, as a name. TRM will confuse, I guess. Then for chrome ball, we will be using a positive value. We can increase the value, copy this, 2.1 or 0.2. We can copy this, paste it without negative. This is for gray ball and this is for chrome ball. I think this can be used on both sides. Yes. Now we have to make a vertical option. This was horizontal one. So I will just need to copy this setup. I will paste it. This will go twice up. Yes. Then we can delete it. We need a y-axis instead. So let's see how much it's needed. We can just copy the Macbeth width and use it. Yes, it's working fine. Let's see the old HDA. The Macbeth is at the bottom. It's 2. We're going to okay. So we will divide this one. Take this one and delete this. Copy this one. Okay. So there are many ways to do this same thing. I don't know. This may be a hard way. But it worked for me. Then add one more switch. Last, adding this to for horizontal or vertical thing. And here also we will be deleting this. We don't want this. No, it's fine for this one. Actually, this we need to add the layout. Paste related reference. And vertical. Yeah. Now these things, all three toggles. So I will just remove this for now. We can add a null over here. Try going ahead. Bottom right, horizontal bottom right. Okay. Copy this node, paste it. Vertical. Vertical left one, then top right one, and top left one. The same thing over here. Yes. Now we'll add a switch for the sphere. Having merged this, prior going to merge from merge one. What I'm saying, just need to use a switch, that's why. What exactly I'm doing is, when the sphere turns off, it should get turned off from here. and this is a null. Okay, we'll copy this, paste it over here. Let's here switch, and what exactly happens when we turn it off? The position of this plane should come down, means it should go down like this. So we will need to add one more null, switch, disconnect it. So with 1, it should be with everything like this, covering the Macbeth transformation also. And this we will change it. Yeah. So exactly what we are doing is like this. Okay, it's working. For top, it's not working because we haven't added yet. So the same thing we will be doing over here. We'll just copy it. For value 1, it will be this one, Macbeth top X form. Working absolutely fine. Now we will do it for the vertical as well, because it's not working. The same trick, copy this, paste it, cut it off. If I disable it, it should come down here. So the 0 output is without the transformation of Macbeth, 1 is with the transformation of Macbeth. The same one with this one, Macbeth. 0 without the Macbeth transformation, 1 with it. We'll change it. Okay. Now comes for the Macbeth chart. Macbeth, and 1 will be change it to Macbeth. It works fine. Now, yes, we need to add the ground. So I hope this was not too much hard or tricky. It looks big, but it's just repetition of the instructions. Now we will be adding a material prior going ahead. For a display material I will be adding, and for render material a different thing. Well, let's start with display material. Let's quick material. Gray wall. Center roughness 0.65 is proper. We can keep this. It's fine. Now the second one is crumble. Is there a preset for this? No. It's fine now. And the last one is the thing which we disabled. We can cut it, paste it over here. We'll take the Macbeth. Yes. And that's it. And now a null node. Out display. For material, I will need to use a magnet. I will just copy the materials which are already here. Changing the base to 0.18, 0.65, chrome to roughness of 0.05. Macbeth, delete this one, keep it, just delete the channel, and shadow might also keep it. Yeah, that's fine. Save your file. For material, we will use material assignment. I can use a single node or multiple, it depends. Select the group, gray wall, no material, change the network to magnet. Again duplicate it. Delete this one and take a chrome. And then now lastly for Macbeth material, this will be useful for rendering. To change it for rendering, we just use Control and left mouse. So for visibility, it will be viewing like this, but for render, it will use the shader in the left. Okay. Now, one thing. On this one, we have the reference set. Let's make a head. Only a ground is remaining. Shader assignment. Right click, type properties, create a new folder. Shader assignment. Apply it. There are two different types of parameters in this. One is which is sourcing the file from outside of Houdini, and the second one is working inside of Houdini itself. So to take the first one, we will be using a file directory. Label is Macbeth texture. Okay, and the second one is the shader parameters. For this, I will be using operator path. The label will be Macbeth shader. So now we will duplicate this for gray material and the chrome material. As we were looking this right now, we found out like if I select anything other than material, everything is coming. Like even the material is coming, so we can change the operating filter from here to surface only. Like this, it will be very easy to follow. Okay. Apply it. Let's check what texture we will be giving it manually every time. Now I am keeping this like that. Otherwise, for publish we can add it. Copy this path to as a relative reference, nothing else. If I just cut it, it's gone. And I will just copy this path again for my material Macbeth. The same thing we will be doing. Expression from string value to H script. Okay. And that's it. So for ground, we have to add a geometry node. We'll name it as ground. I will add just a grid geometry simply for this, and a material assignment. And that's it. We'll apply the shadow catcher or shadow material which we made on the side with an output. And that's it. So I will just like as a ground, we don't know what the scale we should keep. So for that, we know one thing: the bounding box. When we just create, click on frame asset to camera. So that time, what will happen? As per the size of the bounding box, the scale of the ground will change. To do so, I will be taking the value of this z value, cropping this out because this is the highest value in most of the cases, and will paste it as a relative reference. That's it. But I will just multiply it by some number. You can use any number. I'm just using 12. So if I check now, it works fine. But we have to even use this toggle to turn on and off for the ground. So I will be using a switch node again here, a switch and a null node. 0 will be the first position and it denotes as nothing, like a blank, and one will be using the grid for rendering, and that's fine. I will copy this again, and as the switch takes numerical value, this will work fine. So that's it for the ground. Now if we want to check our render once, what we can do is we can even make a ROP setup inside, and we can give an Arnold ROP. Here we will give our camera, which we added for the look dev in HDA, and we'll add a set in, like whatever in this, that will be rendered, and the ground and sphere setup, Macbeth setup with our light rig. In our case, it's look dev light. If we render it now, it's working fine, but we don't have anything as light yet. If I just check this out, if I just put an HDA, like HDR, it will be fine. It's okay. We can even keep some setup for the ROPs, like whatever the primary AOVs are, those we can give it, like direct diffuse or only the diffuse is fine. Mm, For diffuse, we can just type diffuse, and for spec also, we can just type spec. These will give us the contribution, and to identify if you want to further go and check for the direct and indirect contribution, we can give diffuse direct and diffuse indirect, stuff like that. We can add occlusion, and that should work. Like for occlusion, what I have done is I've already made a POV shader with this name. What we will be doing is under ROP section there is POV shaders. So I will just connect it from here, POV shaders, and that should work. I will just need to rename it from AO to AOV underscore AO. We can even add the shadow for compositing purpose. Yes. Okay. We, we can just use this HDA for Arnold. If we want to change it other than Arnold, we can change the shader parameters, and even the ROM. That's it. Nothing else should be changed. Everything should remain the same elsewhere. Hope it was useful, and this was the complete um, unpacking of this tool. Thank you.